So with the AP poll coming out and us being ranked number one in the country, I think it's deserving considering the schedule that we played and the teams that we beat and the great teams that we beaten and the job this team has done. I don't know that we're the best team in the country right now. We're probably not right now because obviously we're not at full strength. Johni won't play tomorrow against Mississippi State, and but we're still a really good team, and so we'll prepare without him. It matters to me because making history at Auburn is matters, and representing the SEC. To have another SEC team to be number one in the country, and obviously all the teams that are ranked in the top 10, and right now 12 teams projected to be in the NCAA tournament from our league is unprecedented and historical. So proud of our league and proud of our accomplishment. When we were one back in 2022, we spent several weeks there, and I did feel like we were the best team in the country then. I did. And I just don't feel that way right now. However, maybe more deserving of the ranking now than ever before because of what these guys have done. Get ready for the best team to play here at home against us, Mississippi State. It's, believe it or not, even with 7 quad 1 wins on our record, not one of them is at home. And so it's which to me makes it even more impressive. But Mississippi State's the best team we've played so far at home by far. Obviously, great guard in Josh Hubbard, and just Matthews has been one of the best players in the league for a long time. And the thing that makes this team different, I think, than last year's team is they're just dynamic offensively. They shoot the 3-ball really well. Chris Jans, I think, has always been recognized as a great defensive coach. And obviously his teams play hard and they play physically and they're tough. They're a greater offensive rebounding team. And, but this year, this might be one of his best offensive teams. They really shoot it. They run stuff that's hard to guard. And Mississippi State will, they're going to finish up near the top of our league.
There's 37, I believe it's 37 offensive rebounds your 3 SEC opponents have had. And without Johni, that's got to be a concern. How do you try to, keep them from getting so many second shots?
Well, it's good. We've got good overall length, and guards are going to have to rebound down, and we're just going to have to be more physical with our checkouts. Not lead out on the break, tackle 50-50 balls, be more intentional. I don't necessarily think that's anything that we're doing defensively that's creating the offensive rebounds more than just the one-on-one physicality of SEC play.
Rich, you talked about the offense for Mississippi State. They're playing a lot faster than they have in the past. What do you think is kind of behind that, and how have they been so successful at cranking up the speed this year compared to what they usually are?
Well, just the personnel. It's personnel driven. He's got guys that can really shoot it, and he's got a number of guys. Harris and Hubbard together are combining for almost 6 threes a game, and shooting a great percentage. And then you got to guard Hernandez out there in the perimeter, and the kid from Birmingham that's done a great job. It really improved tremendously. The guy that we looked at before, who plays some center for them. He does a really good job, and Keyshawn Murphy. I apologize. Keyshawn Murphy really has gotten better. I think Keyshawn Murphy's a great story. I think in the sense that went to Mississippi State and we liked him a lot. Knew he was going to be a really good player, but was patient and has been there now 3 years and so many times. Kind of reminds you a little like Jalen Williams. Played some early, saw signs, and now he's a terrific player, getting rewarded for being loyal to Mississippi State.
Bruce, do you have a tentative timeline for Johni right now?
Do not.
Bruce, you mentioned after the South Carolina game, your guard stepping up and making plays in the second half. Just I mean, with Johni out, just how much more pressure is it or responsibility they have to step up and kind of do some of the same stuff they did?
Well, I think a lot of it's just going to be based on the team that we play, where their strengths and weaknesses are, and that's where we'll go. We'll still go inside. That's still a strength for us, whether it be Dylan or Cheney, Turtle, our guards. Obviously, we're going to have to make up for a lot of areas like scoring and the efficiency, passing of Johni, his rebounding. I mean, he isn't a Player of the Year candidate because he's not he's a stat sheet stuffer, and so much of the way we built our team, particularly on the offensive end, has been around him. And so, but like as has happened in the past, I remember when we went to Georgia last year, we went without Jalen Williams, and other guys stepped up. And Jalen Williams was one of our best players a year ago. So we're all going to have to step up.
Bruce, do you talk to your team about the mental approach of being number one and what comes with that? I know some guys were on the team that was here in 2022, like Dylan Cardwell.
Yeah, I think it's a box checked. We check the box. It's great to be able to say it. It's great for Marlene's notes. It's great. And I don't belittle it. We made history. Here we are in January. How many games have we won in a row now? We've won, let's say 8 maybe in a row, which is really hard to do here in the middle of January. And we have 7 quad 1 wins, not one at home. Man, it's a great time to step back and look at what's been accomplished. Okay, box checked. We're no bigger a target being number 1 than we were number 2, right? And so we recognize that, and we recognize the value of being, analytically, what this does. A win over us analytically jumps you up a line or 2 or 3. Yeah, so it's big. It's big. I guys understand. Our focus right now is, continue to just try to play great basketball, trying to figure out, how do we play without our best player and what things that we do. That's what our focus is. And how do we play Mississippi State, who, it's a great preparation. Mississippi State does a great job of scouting too. They do a great job of changing things up, and so it'll be a great challenge for us. It'd be a great challenge for us with Johni Broome.
With some of Johni's scoring and playmaking now out of the lineup, how much more does that put on, I guess, the guards from a playmaking scoring point of view for guys like Denver and Tahad? Again,
getting back to it, I have confidence that all our guys can step up their scoring. Dylan and Cheney and Chad and Denver and Miles and Tahad and Shakai, Chris. I think everybody has an opportunity, and we have enough talent and to be able to have everybody do a little bit more. I think that's the best way to approach his loss.
Bruce, when you go back and look at the second half against South Carolina, especially down the stretch, the defense, just what was the difference there, and how proud are you for your guys to grind it out the way they did?
Well, we obviously made some big shots and got some big looks, and we were able to convert a couple at the free throw line late, and to hold them without a bucket, in the last 5 minutes, just speaks to our focus, our maturity, our will to win. South Carolina kind of got their identity back against us by being real physical, by beating us on the boards, by had great used their size. When they lost their starting point guard, they wound up, and he's one of their better players, they wound up just getting really big at every position. That size, that length, definitely made them different. It bothered us. And look, South Carolina played well, and they did beat Clemson at home. So we know what Clemson did beat Kentucky. Kentucky did beat Duke. Duke did beat us. So we recognize that it was a pretty good team.
Coach Bruce, Cheney and Johni were both, Cheney and Dylan were both big in those last 5 minutes against South Carolina. But when they're up here, they both talked about controlling their physicality. How do you get that across to them in a game without Johni Broome?
Yeah.
How they can step up and be in the game when it matters?
Yeah, stay down a shot fake. Just stay down. Be second off the floor. Just stay down. And that's and they both got to play aggressively, and they both got to play physically, but they both have got to be smart about they can't afford any unnecessary fouls.
First, you mentioned it a little bit, but the physicality of this Mississippi State team the last couple years. I mean, really the last several years against you guys. What is it about them? I know you said they play a little faster this year, but historically under Jans and previously, what do they do that makes them such a tough out in the paint?
I mean, like Matthews, like every time he drives the ball to get a foul every time, and he'll put his head down and he'll go. And there's a way to guard him without fouling him, and that's just what we have to do as they seek contact. The defense is entitled to its dancing space. Like, this is my space, this is your space. Little dirty dancing analogy there.
Coach, looking at the team rebounding numbers, how do you emphasize to the guys in practice, ahead of the next couple games coming up, to better in that category?
Yep. Everybody's got to, permanent checkouts. Guys got to put bodies on bodies. Got to stay in the possession. You can't lead out on a fast break. And look, there are also times when you're doing all those things and they physically make plays. I mean, you talk about some big, strong guys you're gonna do all that I just said, and they still can move you out and still go get a rebound. So, it's just part of the challenge.